What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we're going to be talking about a trade request from a player named Alex Neil-Bullen from the Melbourne Demons. He's looking to come home to South Australia in the end of year trade period coming up after the season to join a South Australian team in 2025. Now, I wanted to make a video because I think he has a quality about him that is enough to suggest, oh, okay, we can target someone like him. And there's obviously Melbourne trade rumours and everything going around at the moment. So I feel like touching on this subject is something that we can discuss. And I asked a lot of Port Adelaide fans as well, their thoughts on Twitter and how they felt about Port Adelaide targeting Alex Neil-Bullen. And there was a lot of absolutely, yes, he's a great role player. He's a great instrument to the team. And there was, on the other hand, quite a few no's as well. Like, all right, his age, he's turning 29 at the start of the next year. Does he really fit into our side? He doesn't fit the bracket. And there was counter arguments for both sides for Alex Neil-Bullen. Now, a bit of a background story on Alex Neil-Bullen that you probably weren't aware of. He's played 174 games for the Melbourne Demons. He's played 116. He's kicked 116 goals, I should say. He was part of the 2021 Premiership against the Dogs. So he has great value. He is an experienced player. He also is in the age bracket where the prime factor is working in. Now, a lot of people sit here and go, okay, so 28 years old, turning 29, he's nowhere near in his prime. I don't think you're going to expect anything, much more from a player, even at 26. Like, he is putting in great numbers. He's having one of his best years as a player. He's been fantastic for the D's, and he's a role player. He can play up forward, he can play down back, he can play a role on one of the best midfielders in the comp, or he can play a defensive role, or he can play in the midfield. Like, he has great accountabilities for himself and as a footballer that I think not a lot of people are aware of. Now, obviously, I think a lot of people are looking at it and going, do we really need a player like that? Well, you look at certain footballers on our list, like I'm going to mention like Travis Boak, for example, getting older. Neil-Bullen, if gets 3 or 4 years, how long does Boakey last? 2 or 3, maybe one. Maybe nothing after this year. It's all hypothetical. Now, by the way, Travis Boak better not retire at the end of the year. I don't care what anyone says. He's playing next year, and I will sign a contract for him. Okay, now that I got out of the way. For example, I'm using Boak as an example because there are plenty of players on our list. Whilst they're younger and we want to develop our players, we are in a premiership window, and we want to take on that. And having a premiership experience like Alex Neil-Bullen could be a great factor to come into the team. Obviously, it was announced that he has requested a trade home for family reasons. Now, home is obviously South Australia. He's looking to come home, and probably if it's that reason, there's not a care factor on which team. And if I'm absolutely honest, on my honest opinion, reading everyone's comments and what they think about Alex Neil-Bullen, I love him as a footballer. I think he's a great talent. I think he's got capabilities that would fit really, really well within Port Adelaide. Now, if I'm strongly suggesting to him as a mutual, I'm saying probably the Crows is a better example of where you can go. There is not as much depth over there. There's probably a lot more upside for him to go there and develop players around him and become a sort of a mentor or a leader and show what it's like to be in that ruthless team that wins a flag. That's a possibility, but we don't care about the Crows. So what he could bring to us is that factor to our younger kids, to our younger group, who can bring, we can bring that experience and what to do in big moments. And obviously the D's have been there and thereabouts for a few years now. So I think having that opportunity for him to come over would be a great factor. Trade value for Alex Neil-Bullen. Now, this is where it gets interesting, I should say. He sits, he's not A tier. He's probably a B tier footballer in terms of what he's worth, because it's a trade and because of the value that we have. I think saving our picks is a better option, in my opinion. We've got a lot of father-sons coming through. I think Rome Burgoyne's going to be a great talent that we should definitely be considering. And obviously we need to target the draft in the future years as well because of that factor of, we've got aging players. We've also got Tasmania coming into the comp in a few years too. So looking ahead, I think Port Adelaide's agenda needs to be targeting the draft more so, but having someone like Alex Neil-Bullen fit in, could be, the chance that we get to get a premiership in the next couple of years before Tasmania jump in. So there's a lot of different arguments and different reasons. The trade value as well is the fact that there are rumours about Dan Houston wanting to go home. And obviously Melbourne is his home, Victoria. And the D's have been very, very interested. Now, this has been floating around for quite a few weeks. Some people are saying he's good as gone. The club and Ken have come out and said that he's staying. I don't know what to believe. You never really know what to believe when it comes into these types of situations. So to have that sort of two-way street, I guess, with a trade, you can go Neil-Bullen, you can go to first-round pick, Dan Houston, straight swap. Thank you very much for coming, and that could be the trade right there. Late round picks could be swapped in there too. I don't want us to discuss too much on what the trade could be and anything like that. I think it's just a nice idea to sit there and go, there is an experienced footballer who's won a premiership in this comp that's very hard to win, sitting there wanting to go home. He's basically a gimme trade. I think you get some value from that. So it's an interesting call on what Port Adelaide want to do if they want to target Alex Neil-Bullen. There's obviously some other outlets as well circling around. Obviously, we've heard about Harry Perriman from GWS. We've heard more recently the targeting from the Crows about Jack Lukosius. Connor Rozee has great ties with Jack Lukosius. There are a possibility that we could target Jack Lukosius instead. Would he suit our side better? It's kind of an if, buts and maybe situation. This early in the season, this late in the season, I should say, before the silly season sort of commences, I sit here and I simply say, like I said, valuable player that you could definitely pick up. Is it worth it? I'm not entirely sure. You never really know. But he's just right there sitting there. So why not ask the question and see what we can do and what we can work out if there is a trade suitable. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, Port fans, about Alex Neil-Bullen and what we could do to get a trade going for him going into season 2025. There's a lot more to play out in 2024. I don't want to shy away from that. But when a topic like this comes up, you dare to always ask the question and see what sort of response you can get. And definitely there has been quite a lot. And it's been mixed, but definitely, a lot of worthy conversations to be had there. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, Port fans. And subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content to come your way in the off-season. If you're a D's fan as well, let me know your comments and thoughts about doing a trade with Port, potentially with Alex Neil-Bullen. And, maybe give some insights into how well and how liked Alex Neil-Bullen was. I've seen a lot of Melbourne fans quite sad about this news and stuff like that. So I think, targeting someone like him is definitely worth a question. So we'll see how it all pans out. But thank you for watching once again. My name is Anthony, and as always, count the pair.